When you're in the field, you have no power. It's all the people who are in the command offices or the command centers back in Langley who actually have the power. They're the ones who are read into multiple cases, multiple operations, and trying to deconflict. Generally speaking, when you're out in the field, you have the autonomy to do what you think is right and what you think is best, but you have a very narrow scope about what you're trying to execute. So going back to our initial conversation about the difference between the military and the agency, in the military, you have a very narrow scope and you have a very narrow set of your own decision-making capabilities because you have to operate within the confines of what your supervisor said and their supervisor said and their supervisor said, and you're being like closely monitored in every aspect of your military job. Like pilots have 1,000 people watching them at all times. What's your altitude? What's your airspeed? What's your heading? And how much does it vary from the flight plan that you set? Like it's not a fun job when you're in the military. The agency gave us much more flexibility than that, but still just a very narrow scope. We didn't know almost anything. If I'm walking down the streets of any city in Africa or Asia or Latin America, there's operations happening all around me I have no idea about.
Sure.
There might even be people who don't know that I'm there because they don't have the need to know that I'm there in their city or in their country. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. That's how we compartmentalize things to keep the individual officer secure, but also how we keep other operations
That's the
secure.
word I was looking for, compartmentalization. It seems like there is, out of a necessity of the power of a secret and having the most limited number of people knowing it to avoid it getting out, there is significant compartmentalization
Right.
at CIA.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a core to our methodology. It's not only how you make the most out of every officer, because this way you can have a junior officer who might get experience in Latin America, and then in their mid-career you can send them to Asia, and then
Sure.
in their senior career you can send them to Europe, right? Because you can compartmentalize what they were exposed to, and you can compartmentalize them from each of the operations where they were participating. So you get the benefit of all their skills and all their experience without having to share them or share their background or their operational history with everybody who works in all three locations.
So fresh, so new.